Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video on Gran Turismo 7. I'm back with the latest 2 million credit guide to help you earn them credits as quickly and as easily as possible. And we've got quite a fun combination this week at Bathurst in the Clio V6. So I think a lot of people are going to be able to get the gold. I do think some people will struggle. It depends. With this being a slightly longer lap, some people might struggle with it, but I do think you'll enjoy trying to get at least a silver from this if you're going to take part in this, because the car actually is really enjoyable on these new physics. I used weak ABS for this lap. You might want to try default, but I found weak was really nice. So to enter this, you're going to go into sport mode in the top right hand corner there, and you're going to be greeted with the online time trial section from here. Now I haven't done the new Mercedes lap yet. I might not, I don't know if I'm going to get around to doing that, but we've got the guides for the high speed ring already on the channel, and we've now got this guide that we're doing now. So the gold is probably going to go under a 2:34. I think you're going to need to get a 2:33 to secure the gold, and probably under a 2:36. Under a 2:37 to secure the silver. So you want to probably try and get into the 36s for that silver. But yeah, I did manage to get into the top 10. So if you want to load my ghost up, you could simply go into the time trial section, go into the replays, and click load on mine to chase my ghost. So make sure you try and get a good exit off the last corner to start your lap. I didn't really get the best exit there. I actually drifted a little bit and lost a bit of momentum over the line. So a little bit down straight away, but not massively. And now into turn one, we're going to brake past the 100 board on the right there. You can see probably in between the 150, a little bit closer to the 100 at 160 kilometers an hour. Now keep the braking in a straight line, and at this point you want to get this car to rotate and just clip the apex of the curb, because you will rotate it off that curb. Now you can see here at the slowest point is before the apex. We're at 90 kilometers an hour and we're back on the power already, and you can see I slightly missed the curb there, didn't really hit it like I would like to have done, and I went really wide on the exit here. Now this will lose you time. You ideally want to get it much closer to that curb, and yeah, by the time I get to this first sector split, we're aiming for a 0.7. That's what I was getting when I hit a good first sector. However, you're going to see as we go over the first sector, I'm on a late 0.8, so over a tenth of a second down straight away on that first sector. But going into the next braking zone, we're looking for this little bit of tarmac there, in between just after the 100 and before the 50, and we're braking just before the grass on the left there. And the closer to the grass, the more brave you are, you might be able to make some time up here. Now, what you want to do is rotate this car into this apex and then get on the throttle as early as you can. You can see it at our lowest speed here, 112 kilometers an hour. We're already back on that throttle, accelerating up this hill. The earlier you get on the throttle here and start that rotation, the more you're going to benefit all the way up this long hill. This is where you really need that momentum. So, changing gear about 84 miles per hour. And then again, start rotating this into the wall on the left. But you're not going to brake until you're past the wall there. You can see just turning through it. And now we're onto the brakes, 148 kilometers an hour. Now, stay in fourth gear at this phase. You don't want to go down third gear too quick, because it will snap the rear a little bit, and then you'll drift through this corner. So you want to stay in fourth, then down to third, let it rotate, and then get back on the throttle. You can see here, 82 kilometers an hour, and now we're going to get back onto that throttle aggressively there, straight away, maximum throttle. And just be cautious you don't get too close to that wall, because any wall hit here is an invalidated lap. So lost a little bit there. I had to be very careful close to the wall, but not too bad as we work our way up this hill. Now this is all completely flat out. It's just about taking the line that you need to take through this corner. Just skim the curb on the right. Just be careful not to hit any of the walls through this section. And then again, this next left-hand corner, you're not going to get on the brakes. It's just about a little lift off the throttle. You know, I actually take a very aggressive tight line through here. It's not always the best way, but if you get it right, it can really work. You can see coming off the throttle at this point here, and then back onto the throttle. We're going to get the left-hand tyre up onto the curb, and then keep that throttle down. And you can see we actually gain on the ghost in front of us quite a bit through there, because we managed to keep that throttle down. And then again, just as we hit the curb there, we're going up into fifth gear, and we're going to start rotating in. Now again, we're going to play with the throttle through this corner rather than braking. So a little lift off the throttle there, just to start the rotation, get a bit of weight transfer, and then back onto the throttle and try and hold that throttle through this long left-hand corner. Now at the lowest speed there, 173 kilometers an hour, but you can see we've got maximum throttle in. Just again, a little lift off the throttle as the exit there, as I knew I was running wide and had to compromise a bit at the exit. And now this is going to slightly compromise me on this downhill section, because I would have rather have been further over to the left. But you can see there, onto the brakes, nice and early, way before the Audi R8 sign. And you're going to just try and do a bit of braking and accelerating at the same time all the way through this sector, just to try and help keep the car stable. So you can see back onto the brakes quite aggressively as we're going into this down section. You want to keep the car nice and tight to this right hand wall. You don't want to let the car drift out, and then this will enable you to attack this downhill section where you want to get it over the grass, lowest speed 90 kilometers an hour there, and then back onto the throttle aggressively, and just try and keep this car nice and smooth through here, just getting up onto the curb with the right hand tire, and then work your way into this next right hand corner. And again, similar brake and acceleration, you're going to see it through this corner as well. So onto the brakes nice and early again here, way before the corner here. You can see the earlier the better for that corner, and just let the car be very stable with a bit of throttle and braking at the same time. Now this corner is a tricky one. You want to get this car slowed down so you can get onto the throttle nice and early. Now I made a little bit of a mistake here. You can see I go maybe a fraction too early on the throttle, and then I have to lift a bit before we come out the exit. So as we're coming out here, you can see the throttle's down, but then I have to lift a little bit. Now that is something you really want to avoid, because you want, once you're on the throttle, you want to remain 100% on the throttle. You don't want to lift coming out the exit. You can see I actually lose at least 2 tenths to the Ghost in front of me just by that little mistake there. So a lot of loss of time going onto this back straight, but we did do the downhill section quite well. So carried the lap on anyway. And you can see as we come through here, I'm nearly 2 tenths off my optimal through that sector of what I had been previously. So I know I'm over 2 tenths down at this stage. And then into the braking zone, we're going to brake just before the 150 board on our right hand side there, and then just try and be careful. Closer to that 150 the better really, but you don't want to brake too late that you miss this apex. Down to third gear, and now we're going to start rotating it in. Just be careful you don't hit the curb with the left hand tyre too aggressively. So just skim the curb there, 99 kilometers an hour at our lowest speed, and then you can see that throttle is 50% back in already. And then we're going to start playing with that throttle up to 100%, and now 100% all the way through the exit here and up to fourth gear, just as you straighten the car up in a straight line there. Now into the final corner, we're going to brake just past the 100 board on our right hand side, so you're going to see it approaching there. We're braking just past that 100 board, 178 kilometers an hour at the braking point. And now we're going to just be very, very carefully. You want to slow the car down in a straight line and then start rotating it in. Now you want to get on the power as early as you can, and you can run quite wide here to get the power down. So watch as we run wide here, clipping the curb there on the left, 83 kilometers an hour, the slowest speed in that corner. And you can see the throttle already going back in there now. So try and rotate it in now, just because you don't go too far wide. As long as your left hand tyre just about keeps it in there, you should be okay to not invalidate the lap. You can see I get away with it there, and we go over the line for a 2 minutes 30.5. Now there's definitely over 2 tenths left in that lap. The first sector alone was over a tenth down, but yeah, it is a tricky one to get right. You're gonna get quite frustrated trying to get a good lap in on this, but I have to say, one of the most enjoyable time trials I've actually took part in, I would say, out of the ones we've had so far. So let's have a little watch of the lap from the chase camera with kilometers an hour on instead of miles per hour. And again, you can see turn 1, definitely not the best turn 1 then, and then working our way up the hill now as we go through that sector on a late 0.8 as well. Yeah, it should have been on a 0.7, so over a tenth down there. And then braking in between the that little bit of tarmac there on the left hand side just before the grass. You see the grass on the left. And then this corner is all about getting on that throttle as early as you can, because it's an uphill stretch of track here. You want to be on that throttle nice and early to carry that momentum all the way up. Again, be careful here, fourth gear then to third. Don't go straight to third gear, you'll snap the rear, you'll start drifting, and you'll lose a lot of time. And you can see how close I got to the wall there on the right hand side, just about got away with that. Did lose a little bit of momentum with having to just avoid that wall, but not too bad as we work our way up this hill. And again, you can see as we just come up to the top of the hill here, we just lift off the throttle briefly, left hand tire onto the curb, and then keep that power down. And then again, just as you go up on the curb up to fifth gear, little lift off the throttle, just let the car rotate. And again, into this downhill section, you can see the throttle and the acceleration going in together as we go on the downhill section. That's just to stabilize the car, to try and stop it drifting out, and just to keep that momentum all the way on the downhill section. We actually did that pretty nice there, but then going into the final corner, I think I braked a fraction too late as we went on this downhill section. Maybe didn't put quite enough braking in, tried to accelerate early, and then had to lift a little bit for the exit because I could see that wall coming, and that would have invalidated the lap. So definitely lost over a tenth there on the exit going, and then you're going to lose it all the way on this downhill section because your momentum, if you get that corner right, you gain a tenth just purely because of the pace advantage up to the next braking zone. So really important corner to try and get nailed is that really tight left hand corner going into the long straight. Now braking just before the 150 board again. You can see left-hand tyre just skimming the curb on the left, and then right-hand tyre just skimming the curb on the right-hand side, and then keeping that power down, and then into that final corner. Now you're going to see in this final corner just how very close to invalidating this lap. Wasn't an ideal line that I took, but you can, if you get it right, you can gain quite a bit doing this. But you can see there, as long as that left-hand tyre doesn't go too far over the curb as you go off the exit, you shouldn't invalidate the lap, and we managed to get a 2:30 30.5. So hopefully this will help you out. Let me know in the comment section if it did. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with one of these again next week. Take care, everyone.